tonight's varsity contest between the Lions of Lyons Township and your Dukes of York. York boys basketball program would like to welcome all airborne teams to the annual Airborne Night where we recognize all programs. We'll do that at halftime today. Your boys are excited about the future of the Dukes basketball program with all upcoming airborne plays. Starting out, it's a following roll at this time. We ask you to please rise for the playing of our national anthem by the York Pep Band.
And we are live from the Dick Campbell Gym. York Sports Network brings you York Dukes basketball. AJ Switek, Jake Reichus, my man of the hour to my right. York Dukes taking on the Lions of Lyons Township. And of course, the thing to note for Lyons Township, these teams already met earlier in the year. The Lions got the better of the Dukes on their home floor. But of course, the Dukes were up at halftime before the Lions went on their inevitable 19-0 run. But there's something to note here, Jake, and it's a big thing to note. The Lions were without star guard committed to Akron, Tavari Johnson. Johnson's back tonight. He wears number 5 for the blue and yellow, and he is a guy to watch out there. As for the Dukes, much of the same. Tyron Casey, Drew Kircher, Alex Sherman back in the starting lineup alongside the two big men, Braden Richardson and Adam Hardick. Jake, I know we're looking forward to getting underway. I thank you for coming on the call with me tonight. We're raring to go. What are you looking to see in this one?
Yeah, AJ, ever since losing Nick Hesh, the Dukes have really showed out, and other players have really stood up to the task, and they have really put together a couple of wins that are really important for their program. As for LT, Tavari Johnson's obviously a huge player for them. He really showed out in the Jack Tosh until he unfortunately lost to Glumbar West in the championship. But he really put up a good fight, and they are definitely going to be running through him tonight.
Absolutely. He showed what kind of a difference just one player can make. LT, a team that was pushed over, rather, in their first game against Glumbar West, able to rally all the way through the Jack Tosh tournament, take home the silver, take home second place. But here we are underway, and the sophomore Braden Richardson wins the tip for the Dukes. The offense tonight running through Drew Kircher and Tyron Casey, two names that are very familiar for the Dukes. And as for Kircher, on his last time on the hardwood, he dropped 31 for the Dukes. And that one no good from Hardick. Going the other way will be Tavari Johnson and the Lions, and that is why he's going to Akron. Great indoor pass, high off the backboard, but that one's off the mark from Will Carroll. Dukes heading the other way. Kircher trying to go to work against Johnson. This will be one of his tougher matchups of the season. Johnson's so athletic, so shifty. He really does it all on both the offensive and defensive end. And Sherman just dribbles it off his foot. That one will go out of bounds. That's not a turnover you could have in this game. And now with 7:20 to go in the first quarter, Tavari Johnson and company take over again. And yet again, he finds the open man streaking down court. And yet again, Will Carroll is off. Richardson able to get on top of it for the Dukes. Jump ball, possession arrow faces with the Lions. But Jake, two really athletic, really almost quarterback-esque passes from Tavari Johnson, but two really just unacceptable misses from Carroll.
Yeah, those are shots that you definitely have to make, especially off of great passes from Tavari Johnson. Those just got to go.
Absolutely. Both these teams have a lot to play for tonight. Of course, both reside in the West Suburban Silver Conference. Glenbard West Hilltoppers, the #1 team in the state, likely will finish on top. But as for the Dukes, they're right in the thick of it for that race for second place alongside Hinsdale Central and, of course, the Lions of Lyons Township. So this game, a head-to-head win would mean a lot for the Dukes. And there he is, Tavari Johnson, man of the hour, nothing but nylon. That's number 5, the Akron Zips commit, getting it to go and getting the scoring started for us here tonight. And now it is Kircher. Kircher, mid-range jumper. No good. Rebound goes with the Lions. And that one's out of bounds off of a Lion, actually. That was Aiden Sullivan, the senior guard, trying to come down with it, but bobbled it a bit too much there. Goes out of bounds, and now it's Richardson to inbound for the Dukes. Giving to Hardick. Hardick's a guy who conventionally, you look at him, maybe not a guy you expect to see outside the perimeter, but Coach Dunn has loved what he's done on the screens, on those pick and rolls from outside, and Hardick, a guy now who almost works entirely from the perimeter on the offense. Hardick giving to Casey. He's open off the screen, but Casey just doesn't see him. Hardick to Sherman. Sherman back to Hardick, the big man, pulling up for 3. No, that one's off the back of the iron, but an athletic play from Sherman. You know, Jake, offensive rebounds lead to points, and the Dukes are one of the best teams in the conference at getting it done.
Yeah, they really are hustlers on the boards, and that can really turn into more points.
Now Sherman trying to work from the wing. Richardson giving to Casey. 5:30 to go. We still have a defensive battle, only scoring so far from the hands of Tavari Johnson. Both teams love to take their time on the offensive end, but Sherman doesn't do that there. The careless shot is up. It is blocked, and the Lions will go the other way. Or will they? Looks like there was a foul called on the floor. That'll come against Alex Sherman. Lions will maintain possession. Only the Duke's second foul, first for Sherman on the night. And now with nearly 3 minutes elapsed in this first quarter, still only 3-0. This Lyons Township team really stellar on defense, and Tavari Johnson extremely stellar on the offensive end. He gets it to go. That is really just textbook there from the Akron Zips commit. Hardick gives to Kircher at the wing. That's where he is so good, and he forces an early foul. Looks like it'll come against Tavari Johnson here, and Johnson is the exact player who Lions cannot afford to get into foul trouble. Johnson is the leading scorer and leading defensive piece to this team. Picks up an early foul, but they'll keep him in the game. Now Casey off the inbound, giving to Kircher. Kircher thought about the mid-range jumper, resets the offense up top, and there's a new face, sophomore Chris Danko. With the absence of Alex Sherman, he actually found his way into the starting lineup, and he did a great job, and now you see him getting into the game early. Here's the 6th man. Great backdoor pass from the sophomore. Gets it to Tyron Casey, and the Dukes are on the board. Now Casey guarding Johnson. Not a matchup he wanted, but he does pass to the open teammate, and that shot is good from the hands of Billy Bach. And just like that, the Lions have a 6-point lead. Kircher spinning from the wing. Double team jumper. He got it. Drew Kircher shrugs his hands, and rightfully so. Drew Kircher has really came into his own in his senior season, and even more so in these last few games. He has been electric, but so has Tavari Johnson. The two seniors trade off some electric shots, but at the end of the day, ends with the Lions up top by 7 here with just under half of the first quarter to go, Jake.
Yeah, really good shots by both players. Really going to be running through the offense, both of them.
Absolutely. Both senior guards getting themselves on the board early, both coming alive in the second half of the season. But this time it's the senior guard, Drew Kircher, with the clumsy turnover, and going the other way is Tavari Johnson trying to get the better of him. He was fouled. We'll see if they'll send him to the line or if that was called on the floor. Looks like it was on the line. Tavari Johnson now will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. Already Tyron Casey's second foul for the Dukes, with a guy who's so good at defense like Casey, not a guy who can afford to get into foul trouble, especially when you have a guy like Tavari Johnson on the other end.
Yeah, definitely not. Tyron is going to be one of their better perimeter defenders and is going to be one of the guys definitely taking a lot of the hits on Tavari Johnson.
Absolutely. Casey with 2 fouls, the Dukes with 3. Dukes trailing 11-4 with 3:28 to go in this first quarter. York Sports Network, your place for all York sports. We'll be right back after this mask-mandated timeout. Blows, the buzzer sounds, the mask-mandated timeout comes to a close. Dukes breaking the huddle second here. Will start from the charity stripe is Tavari Johnson. Johnson has started off, and he has started off hot. Already has 8 of Lions' 11 points. Looking to get himself to the double digits here and put the Lions up by 9 here at the free throw line. New faces checking in for both teams. Senior Aiden McGovern at the bottom of the block there for the Dukes. And as for the Lions, number 25, Graham Smith checks into the game. Johnson gets them both. He is just cash from the free throw line. At the high school level, that is a major feat. It goes overlooked so often, but it's called the charity stripe for a reason. Those should be free points, and Johnson nearly always capitalizes. Dukes trailing by 9. Desperate need of points here. A.J. Levine fakes the pass, ends up with Kircher at the wing. Kircher inside, slithery finish. Oh my goodness, that would have been electric if it went. Now the Lions looking to extend this lead even more, but the carry called on Tavari Johnson. He almost doesn't believe it, but the refs have been really strict on that this year. Any moving base, and that will be called, and this time it goes against the Lions. Kircher trying to get it into Levine. Gets it to Danko rather instead. McGovern gives to Hardick. Hardick nearly called for the 5-second, able to get it off to his other big man. The Dukes have 2 big men, both standing on the outside, leaving this Lions defense in the middle, led by Graham Smith, a bit flustered here, trying to attack the outside. The Dukes need to get something going and take advantage of the fact that Graham Smith is guarding absolutely nobody in this zone. Dukes running a perimeter offense, trying to find a hole in this Lions zone that has been so good for them this season. Kircher off the ball screen. Sloppy pass recovered by Lions, and who else but Tavari Johnson gets it going the other way off the pass from Billy Bach. Corner 3, up and in. That shot's good from Nick Polanowski, and just like that, Dukes are forced to call their first time out. Jake, it's been nothing but Lions so far. Lions Township on top 16-4. Dukes absolutely need to get something going here. What do they have to change? How can they lock down Tavari Johnson? I mean, it's easier said than done, but this team trailing by 12 with 2:04 to go in the first quarter needs to get something going.
Yeah, Johnson's playmaking has been just as big of a problem as his scoring ability. They really got to cover those three-pointers that he's dishing to all day.
Absolutely. Johnson really good at generating his own looks as well as his teammates. York Sports Network, your place for all York sports. We'll be right back after this Vince Dunn timeout. following that timeout, we got word from our technical producer, Jack Borchers, that the scoreboard was actually flipped. Want to make sure that it is aware that the Lyons Township Lions currently on top 16-4 over the York Dukes, not the other way around. It's been nothing but Lions so far, but the Dukes trying to make a change of that after that timeout. Kircher off the screen from McGovern. Trying to give back to McGovern. A miscue there. They'll say it's out of bounds on Kircher. Nearly touched by Niego, but good job by him to get out of the way. And now it's Lions basketball yet again. Johnson with the give to Niego. Niego's been really good for this Lions team coming off the bench. Provides an extra life, if you will. A lot more stamina off the bench. He is just a laterally quick guy. Giving to the corner, finding the open man and finding the open bucket. This Lions team is shooting the lights out of the Dick Campbell gym, and it's led by Billy Bach. Lions up by 15. Drew Kircher and company desperately need to get something going on this offensive possession, but can't do so. Kircher has it ripped from him by Niego. Niego was so good in that press that ultimately led to the Dukes' demise in their first meeting against Lions Township, and he's here again on the defensive end. Johnson trying to go to work against Kircher. Spinning move, has the mismatch he wants on Richardson, but throws a pass cross court instead to Niego. Johnson wants the skip pass, opts to shoot. That one's left short, but a shooter's bounce goes to Billy Bach of Lions Township. Floating jumper. No, and this time the Dukes will come up with the defensive board. 35 seconds now, Dukes down by 15. Richardson for three. No, that's an air ball. Going the other way again are the Lions. Lions Township has been everywhere, both on the offensive and defensive glass, dominating nearly every aspect of this game, and they continue that there. Graham Smith, backdoor cut, backdoor bucket. Lions on top by 17. Jake, this has been nothing short of a massacre. Lions Township has came out, they've come with the game plan, and they have attacked this Dukes team, playing cut-mouth basketball on both sides of the floor. I mean, this game has been not only the Tavari Johnson show, which is what we're used to seeing from Lions, but this has been a team attack. Seems like everyone on this Lions team is able to make the open shot, and that's really just been the demise of this Dukes team.
Yeah, they have really been able to pick apart the York zone. Billy Bach has been making his shots. Everyone is just doing their part in this offense.
Absolutely. The Lions Township Lions on top 21-4. Dukes in desperate need of getting something to go. 19.5 seconds to go in this first quarter. Timeouts come to a close. Yet again, it's the Dukes the last one to break it. Coach Dunn forced to call 2 timeouts here in the first quarter. Not something he was looking to do going into the game, but certainly also wasn't looking to be trailing 21-4 in the first quarter. Now with 19 seconds, Dukes looking to change the momentum in front of their home fans. Lions brings out the press. Niego guarding Kircher. Now just 10 seconds to go in the first quarter of action. Kircher finds his way inside. He's fouled in motion. He's going to have an open look there. That's a good foul from number 25, Graham Smith. Kircher will go to the line to shoot 2. Much like Tavari Johnson, Drew Kircher, the senior character for this team. He's really been the character of stability for the squad. He's typically very good from the free throw line, as that one's nothing but nylon. Second one from Kircher, up and in. Kircher gets them both to go. 7 seconds to go now. Lions looking to hold for the last possession. Now it's just 5 seconds left. They have the open guy in the corner. He gets his shot up, and wow, I mean, Lions shooting the lights out is an understatement. That shot is good from Nick Polanowski. He was huge in the Tosh. He was huge against the Dukes in his first meeting, and he's been huge tonight from the quarter. Number 35 gets it to go. Lions on top by 18. York Dukes trailing 24-6. This is one of the most dominating performances I've witnessed from an opposing team in the York gym from the first quarter, and we witnessed the Hilltoppers take on the Dukes, which are home to 5 Division I recruits. This Dukes team, however, trailing heavy early. Tavari Johnson and company have been shooting the lights out for the Lions. 24-6, York Sports Network, your place for all York sports. AJ Switek, Jake Reichitz will be back at the start of the second quarter. And we are back. That quarter intermission comes to a close. The second quarter, Duke's really not looking to continue anything from that first quarter. Trailing by 18 here, they're looking for a fresh start, and they bring back most of the starting lineup with Kircher, Casey, and Hardick out there, and McGovern and Sherman finishing the 5. Aiden McGovern inside, giving back to Kircher. This Lions defense is so stifling, they've made it near impossible for the Dukes to generate any looks without a hand in their face. Sherman being guarded on the outside by Polanowski. Wouldn't be surprised to see Coach Dunn want to attack that clear lateral quickness disadvantage there for Polanowski, but regardless, they go to McGovern inside. He's too short on the lay-in, and Lions will be going the other direction. Niego gives to an open corner shooter again. This Duke's defense has been leaving that weak side corner open nearly all night with that one off the mark. Now it's Alex Sherman trying to work against Bach. Sherman gives to McGovern. This Duke's team continuing to run the offense that has struggled for them so far, just passing the ball around the perimeter, trying to generate an open look. That's the look they wanted, but Tyron Casey no good. Offensive rebound with Aiden McGovern. Really good hustle there from the senior to force the jump ball, but the possession arrow does face with the Lions. Sullivan gives to Niego on the inbound. Looks like they're giving Tavari Johnson a rest here to start the second quarter. The star already finding time on the bench. Not something that happens for him too often early in the game, but up by 18, Lions can afford to do so. Lions trying to attack that same corner, but this time it doesn't work. Sloppy pass ends up with A.J. Levine, and it's Tyron Casey going the other way. Floater. It's good. Tyron Casey gets it to go. Huge shot from Casey, trying to change any sort of momentum that's going on in this gym. Those are his 4th points and the Duke's 8th. And now Kircher from the wing. 2 minutes to pass in the second quarter. We've only seen one basket, but that's a double dribble against Kircher. Jake already trailing by 16. The Dukes can't be affording to have too many mistakes like those. Yeah, they really cannot be making those simple errors. They gotta move the ball around more and get more open shots. Like Casey earlier, that pick and roll with McGovern. Those are the kind of shots they want to get over and over again if they want to chip into this lead. Absolutely, and Coach Dunn has made that clear as day, continuing to run the offense where, as you mentioned, they pass the ball around the outside and continuously set on-ball screens. That's a rare one from Tavari Johnson. Sloppy pass goes out of bounds, and the Dukes will take over possession. Casey gives to Kircher. Instantly calls for the ball back. The Dukes forcing the switches they want. That's what those screens are able to generate. We'll see if they're able to take advantage. Levine working inside, giving out to McGovern. Aiden McGovern for 3. That one's off the side of the iron, no good. And Tavari Johnson's pushing the pace the other way. Johnson yet again with a nearly errant pass, but this time good recovery by Jackson Niego to recover and keep Lions in possession. Dukes nearly leaving the near side corner open again. Luckily for them, Niego bobbled his pass. Sullivan inside. 3 Dukes defenders. He doesn't care. That's a slithery finish from Aiden Sullivan. Number 2 gets it to go, and Lions, just like that, is right back up by 18. Yeah, great move right to get in the middle of the zone and finish that nicely. Absolutely. Worked his way through multiple Dukes defenders there. Really slithery finish. Really good around the rim is Aiden Sullivan. Levine, mid-range jumper, not something we see him pulling up with too often, but when in need of a hero, why not go for it? A.J. Levine makes the tough jumper, and just like that, Dukes are back down only 16. Oh, but a great offensive board, nearly a putback effort there from Polanowski, not one he misses too often, but the Dukes now need to take advantage of that as over half of the second quarter has gone away, and the Dukes still down by 16. Casey inside the paint. Levine nearly giving it up in the corner. He wants to shoot from that same spot, but this time he steps out of bounds. Dukes with another careless turnover, and now they go for seniority at the guard position with Peyton Stark checking back into the game. Diego running the point guard position. This is where we will likely see Tavari Johnson at the college level. He's primarily a shooting guard, really good off-ball guy, but as you mentioned, he's one of the better playmakers you'll see play shooting guard, really good passer as well. And this time it's a good pass from a different teammate, able to get it to the corner off the really good pass from Graham Smith, but that shot just off the mark. Inside the other way, Levine tries that same jumper, this time at air balls. Both teams pushing the pressure in both directions. Lions continuing to attack the two weak spots in the Duke's zone, but Sullivan misses the easy look. He's the one who had that slithery finish earlier. Made the hard one, missed the easy one there.
Yeah, they really keep getting these easy looks, but they just cannot connect on those close shots.
Absolutely. You could only imagine how much worse this lead could potentially be if Lions starts to capitalize on that inside shot. This Duke's team may have to switch up the defensive scheme as both the near side paint and near side corner have been left open far too often in this one, and that's what's led to the current score being Lions Township 26, Dukes 10. AJ Swiatek, Jake Reiches, York Sports Network. We'll be right back after this 90-second mask mandated timeout.
This man's bricked. Oh! Show me again! Oh my god, he's sticking up! Yo! He's sticking up. Mark Burnett. Why?
And as the horn blows, that means that the mask-mandated timeout, which occurs after the first clock stoppage after halfway through the second quarter, is complete. And now with 3:24 to go on this second quarter clock, the Dukes are trailing by 16. Lions continuing to attack the corner. This time it's Kircher covering it. Dukes nearly make a mistake there trying to switch on defense, but instead it's Lions with the deep three. That's not a look they generate too often. They have been getting much better looks than that tonight, but that one's no good from Bach, and now it is Levine the other way trying to capitalize. Levine driving inside, giving to Kircher in the corner. That's the most open look he's had tonight, and he gets it to go in a big way. Exactly what the Dukes needed there, exactly what the doctor ordered. However you write it up, an open Drew Kircher three is exactly what Coach Dunn was looking for.
Yeah, those are definitely the shots they're going to want to need if they want to chip into this lead.
Absolutely. Kircher now with over half of the Dukes points. He's up to 7 on the night. Dukes down by 13, but all of a sudden momentum shifting. Sloppy pass yet again, and now the Dukes yet again will set up on offense. Kircher to inbound, gives to Stark. Dukes continuing to run this offense where they spread the entire offense around the perimeter. Stark gives to Kircher. Just over 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Dukes down by 13. Oh, A.J. Levine puts his defender on the ground. $1 million move, but couldn't get it to go on the finish. Jump ball on the offensive rebound from Hardick. Good hustle leads to the Dukes keeping possession. That was one of the best moves I have seen in a long time. A.J. Levine sent his defender flying. When you have an open look like that, you've got to get those buckets to go. Those are the quote-unquote easy ones. But that move, man, that was nice.
Yeah, really nice crossover. Just couldn't finish it. He really wanted that one, you can tell.
Absolutely. That's one that will go in the highlight reels if that one was good to go. But regardless, has to shake it off because now with under 2 minutes to go in the second quarter, the Dukes need a basket more than ever. Levine tries to get it inside, but a kick ball called against Nick Polanowski, and it looks like he almost targeted that one. That's something we've seen so much more at this level. It really seemed like it was revolutionized at the start of this year with the Glenbard West Hilltoppers led by Braden Huff. Now teams go for kick ball violations. There's no foul. Why not? If there's an open pass, just put your foot out, make the offense reset, and it's really been used a lot more often in the Illinois high school level of basketball.
Yeah, now that almost every good team has switched to a zone, you're really able to get a lot more touches on the ball, especially through those passing lanes.
Absolutely, and that's why when you're able to extend your foot like that, it makes the zone that much harder to beat, adds even more length, adds even more confusion in the passing lanes. And as we were talking there, Carter Reed picks up his first foul, and Braden Richardson will go to the line to shoot 2. The sophomore's first one from the line is good. Duke's now down by 12. Stark checks out of the game. So does Adam Hardick. In comes Aiden McGovern, and in comes Chris Danko. Richard's second one is also good. Really good free throw line trip there from the sophomore. Braden Richardson picked up 2 much-needed points. He has done a really good job filling in for the big shoes of Nick Hesh. Oh, great indoor feed. Sullivan giving it back outside. Didn't want to test Braden Richardson and Aiden McGovern down there. The weak side corner with Tavari Johnson left wide open for nearly 10 seconds. Johnson had a wide open look, but who cares? The contested shot from Nick Polanowski instead is good to go. Tavari Johnson screaming for the basketball. You don't want to leave a D1 recruit that wide open, but Polanowski opts to take it himself and gets it to go. Yet again, Richardson is fouled on the way up on the offensive end, and yet again, he'll go to the line to shoot 2 much-needed free throws. And again, it's Carter Reed with the foul. He now has 2 fouls in the last 30 seconds, and it looks like LT will sub in Will Carroll for him. First one good from Richardson. Richardson now 4 for 4 from the line. Huge shots from the sophomore, now getting 4 straight points for the Dukes. Dukes now down by only 12. The second quarter has been a major momentum shifter. Duke's starting to settle in on the offensive end and let less easy shots up on the defensive one. Nearly a steal from Levine. He could have grabbed that one before it went out of bounds, but he was certain it went off the Lions' offensive player. Unfortunately for him, it was off him, and Lions will maintain possession. Tavari Johnson passing off again. Polanowski. This Lions team plays very unselfish basketball. They have a lot of stars, and all of them get the ball in their hands nearly every offensive possession, and there's one of the stars. Tavari Johnson, nothing but nylon. However you want to write it up, that shot is good, and nothing but net there from the Akron Zips commit.
Yeah, he is just so good in the one-on-one isolation. He is so good at creating space for those shots.
Absolutely, that's what he specializes in. Now 8 seconds left. Chris Danko. Dukes typically hold for the last shot in this situation, but when you generate an open 3, why not put it up? Now with 1 second left, Sullivan, half-court heave, it's good! Oh my goodness! Going into halftime, Aiden Sullivan heaves up a half-court shot, and you know, Lions on top by 17, maybe not the most necessary shot, but shuts down any Dukes momentum. That was wild.
That is the last thing the Dukes wanted to end the half, is a half-court heave off the backboard for the Lions.
Absolutely. Lots of head shaking on the Duke sideline, and rightfully so. They've been doubled up by the Lions in the first half. Lions Township 34, York Dukes 17. Halftime will be a 10-minute period in this one following that insane half-court shot from Aiden Sullivan. AJ Switek, Jake Reichus, York Sports Network. We'll be right back after this halftime break.
Sixth grade boys green is next up. Sixth grade boys green team is riding a 9-game win streak and excited to continue the momentum through the rest of the season. 9-game win streak. Congratulations. The next team we'd like to recognize tonight is the 7th grade boys white team. 7th grade boys white. Like many boys who have not played together prior to this season, drills and plays shared by the York coaching staff have been instrumental in recent improvements. The team's very excited about a strong finish to the end of the season. Congratulations. Our next team we'd like to recognize is the 7th grade boys green team. 7th grade boys green team has a Thanksgiving tournament championship under their belt. They're just starting the top conference season and starting to gel as a team. Congratulations, 7th grade boys green. And finally, we'd like to recognize our 8th grade boys white team. Congratulations, guys. 8th grade boys white team is off to a great start. We started off the year in the Final Four of the Riverside Brookfield tournament and kept the momentum to a 4-0 start in conference play. Wow. Knocking off the top 2 teams along the way. Looking forward to competing in the second half of the season. Congratulations again, 8th grade boys white. Congratulations to all our airborne teams becoming the future of the York Dukes basketball program in your hands. Congratulations, fellas.
And as the buzzer sounds, the halftime period comes to a close. Duke's currently trailing 34-17. It's been nothing but Lyons Township, and really, it's been nothing but the entirety of that squad. They've had a lot of shooters, a lot of playmaking, a lot of crazy plays. The half was capped with an Aiden Sullivan made half-court shot. And now getting underway here, Jake, Tavari Johnson with the ball. But as you mentioned at half, I know we were talking, they have a lot of shooters. They have a lot of guys on this team that could do a lot of things. Yeah, especially Pulinowski and Bach. They have really been able to hit those open shots, especially with Tavari Johnson's playmaking ability. He has really opened the offense. Absolutely, and there's Johnson again. You see the defense forced to sag. He's done such a good job facilitating this offense via the pass. I mean, he's nearly unguardable. He makes those mid-range shots. He makes those three-pointers. He's also just such a good facilitator. He's made it really a living, just awful experience for the Dukes. Really hard for them to do anything against him. Yeah, there is really not someone that is able to guard him in the isolation so far. Now Casey giving to Hardick. Hardick tries for the backdoor pass to Sherman. Should have put that one up himself, but Sherman really heads up play, able to steal and put it in the other way. Sherman steals from Pulinowski, and the Dukes get themselves on the board right back to down 17. Yeah, that pressure on the transition is really good. The Dukes are going to need to get those extra turnovers and force those extra turnovers to score more. Absolutely. Of course, at the high school level of basketball, no shot clock as Tavari Johnson. Call it his takeover badge. Call it whatever you want. He has taken over this game. He's up to 16 on the night now. Looks like he'll be near double-double range by the time this one's over. As Sherman pulls a three of his own, gets it to go as well. Alex Sherman starting the second half well for himself here now with 5 consecutive points for the Dukes. But as I was mentioning, this Dukes team with no high school, oh my goodness, almost impossible to mention anything with Tavari Johnson on the floor. That's another one that's good. And just like that, Lions up by 18. Both teams starting hot on the offensive ends, and without a shot clock, the Dukes will need to get something going and get something going fast, as Lions can hold the ball for as long as they want when on the offensive end in the fourth quarter. Yeah, and especially that type of confidence from the shooters on the Dukes is what they're going to need to chip away at this lead. Absolutely, and there's more confidence, exactly as you mentioned. Adam Hardick maybe doesn't always take that shot. You saw the hesitation, but opts to take it, and when you have an open look, just drain it, and Adam Hardick does just that. That one's off from Sullivan. Both teams' offense is starting hot, and now the Dukes will get the ball again, trailing by 16. Lions brings out the press that caused the Dukes so many problems just a few short weeks ago. Casey giving to Sherman. Feeding the hot hand. He has been really good coming out of halftime. Casey looking to Sherman again. Being guarded by Sullivan. Sherman step back, resets the offense. It goes to Casey. Duke starting 5 on the floor. Same goes for the Lions. Both teams putting their most talented squad out there after resting at halftime. Kircher, after some contact from Carroll, passes off. Now it's Sherman in the corner. This Dukes team taking a lot of time. Definitely good to generate those good looks, but you really have to wonder how much time you could take when you end up with a shot like that. Now with under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, they're going to have to start upping the pace if they're going to want to get points on the board. Really good play there from Tavari Johnson. Johnson goes up for the shot, changes his mind midair, gets it to Pulinowski in the corner, and this duo is just lethal. Richardson giving to Casey now. Duke's on the offensive end. Hardick, he traveled. Looked like he got fouled, but there was movement in the base first. He's frustrated. But as I mentioned, the refs have at least been consistent with a call that seems so subjective as of late at so many levels. The travel, really different definitions according to many different people. The refs, at least in this Dick Campbell gym, have made it clear that any moving base, any kind of discrepancy, they will be calling the travel. And it looks like when Adam Hardick travels on the offensive end, he makes up for it on the defensive one. He gets the defensive rebound, draws the foul from Aiden Sullivan, and now the Lions pick up their first foul of the half. Four minutes to go now in this third quarter of action. Dukes trailing by 19. Casey, mid-range jumper, blocked. Pulinowski, this Lions team is full of athletes, just able to use his lateral quickness there, get down in the key, put up a hand, and get a block. Kircher, you could tell he wanted to go up with that one. Oh my goodness. Drew Kircher has come alive in the second half of his senior season. You know, there were question marks heading into the year how his progression would go under the second year in Vince Dunn's system. Any of those questions are gone, dropping 31 points in their last affair. Now he's up to 9. He'll go to the line to shoot for his 10th point. Drew Kircher, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it's that ability to make those type of circus shots and create that space in the isolation that really sets him apart.
Absolutely. Drew Kircher, such a slithery finisher. This Dukes team full of guys who are not going to go out without a fight. Dukes trailing by 17 to Lions. Lions Township 43, York Dukes 26. York Sports Network, your place for all York sports. We'll be right back after this mask-mandated timeout. Whistle blows, the band noise comes to a stop, and Drew Kircher goes to the line and try to finish one of the most acrobatic three-point plays that I've ever seen in the Dick Campbell gym. Three-point play, no. Takes a defender's bounce there. Kircher hit the rim a few times, but that one no good. Tavari Johnson now passing off to Niego. Niego really came alive in that second quarter. Trying to get inside to Niego, but now Kircher making up for his missed free throw on the defensive end. Really heads-up play there to get in the passing lane. He'll try to go the other way. He does so. Drew Kircher, I mean, that kid just has a heart for finishing. He just has the IQ. I don't know how to put my finger on it, whether if it's the it factor, whatever you want to call it. He can finish around the rim, and he can do so well, but so can Tavari Johnson. Quick answer there for the Lions.
Yeah, both point guards' ability to finish in the lane is just unmatched here.
Absolutely. Kircher versus Tavari showed something that a lot of people were expecting around the school today. It's just that Tavari Johnson has had the better hand so far in this one. Of course, no discredit to Kircher. He's had a really good game for himself as well. But the Dukes now continuing to slow down the pace. I mean, I'd like to see some sort of change here. Down by 17, the clock continues to run. If you want to come back and win this one, you've got to up the pace and still generate the good looks they've been able to recently. Kircher gives inside to Hardick. Hardick to Casey. Casey, deep three, good. Tyron Casey, you know, he's known for the defensive ability, Jake, but he is an underrated spot-up shooter. He can shoot from near that volleyball line consistently well, really good form. Tyron Casey gets it to go. Dukes down by 16.
Yeah, those are the type of shots the Dukes are going to have to take without any hesitation if they want to make this game close.
Absolutely. Like the confidence there from the senior, seniority on display, and now it's Kircher trying to show his the other way. Doesn't do so with the pass behind Tyron Casey. Polanowski guarded quickly at the half-court line. Richardson overcommits, three-point up, no good. That's a rare miss there from Billy Bach. Casey to Kircher, under 2 minutes to go now in this third quarter of action. Dukes came into the quarter down by 17, now down by 14. Sherman open from the corner. He's been good from there in his career. He's good from there tonight, and just like that, don't look now, but the Dukes only down by 11. Dukes on a bit of a run of their own here. Tavari Johnson looking for the answer. Gives to his teammate Niego. Niego to Bach. Bach versus Hardick, clear athleticism disadvantage, but Hardick is really good at holding his own on the defensive end. This time, doesn't get a hand up. Luckily, Bach misses, and it'll go the other way. Bach thought it went off Richardson. Richardson knew it went off Bach, and now the Dukes will have the ball with a chance to get this back down to single digits.
Yeah, and 3 new subs in for the Dukes. Danko, Levine, and McGovern, hopefully to add some shooting ability as well as athleticism on the defense.
Absolutely. Definitely adding height into the lineup. You see McGovern back into the game, as well as you mentioned A.J. Levine and Danko, both guys who really provide a bit of lengthiness from the guard and small forward positions respectfully. McGovern wants to give to Kircher, has to give to Hardick. We now have 45 seconds to play in the third quarter. Levine to Danko. The sophomore shot is up, no good, but Levine, really good hustle there to get the offensive board. The Dukes have been so good at that this season. That's what's generated so many of their points. Levine resets the offense, gets it to Kircher in the wing. Kircher guarded by Niego. He is so good on the defensive end. McGovern now under an NBA shot clock to play, about 20 seconds left in this third quarter. Danko forced to pick up his dribble, gives to McGovern. Now 15 seconds to play. Coach Dunn calling a play for Kircher. Kircher facilitating the offense. Now we have 10 seconds to go. Looks like Levine will keep it himself. Gets it hit out of his hands on the way up, and with 5 seconds, the Dukes will maintain possession. Dukes call for a quick sub here. Looks like Sherman wants to get into the game. Out comes Danko, in comes Sherman. Coach opts for seniority at the end of the third. Over top pass to Kircher, 3 seconds. Kircher, contested 3, he's fouled. Kircher wanted the contact and got it. Kircher has came alive in this third quarter. That's what the senior does. When you are called the superstar of your team, you have to be able to elevate everyone around you, and boy, oh boy, has he done that this quarter.
Yeah, he has really stepped up in the scoring aspect of the game for the Dukes.
Absolutely, turning it around at a much-needed time, and now with 3 free throws, he has a chance to really change the energy of this one. Kircher's first free throw is good. It's down to a 10-point Lions Township lead. Kircher's second is good. Both nothing but net for the senior. Kircher now up to 13. Trailing by 9, we'll see if Kircher has a bit of Kyle Guy in him, if you will. Ice in his veins, making 3 straight free throws in a big moment. He does. Kircher gets all 3 free throws, and a Lions team that was up by 17 at half, now up by a mere 8. Inbound, 1 second. Do they have more of a miracle in them? Oh my goodness. Sullivan hits the backboard again. That would have been crazy. Sullivan, of course, had the buzzer beater to end the first half, and now the story is this Dukes team coming back. York Dukes now trailing by 8. Lions on top, 45-37. York Sports Network, your place for all York sports. AJ Switek, Jake Reiches. We'll be right back at the start of the fourth quarter. You know what that means. The fourth quarter of action on York Sports Network is underway. Dukes trailing 45-37, but in case you're just tuning in, that's no easy feat. The Dukes were down by 17 at halftime, cut down into that lead by 9 coming out of the half in that third quarter, and now starting with possession here, will look to continue the momentum they have built on.
Yeah, they've really done a great job in that third quarter of creating those open shots and hitting those threes that need to hit to cut into that lead.
Absolutely. Dukes did a really good job in that third quarter, but have to continue it here into the fourth. For the Dukes, it's Danko and McGovern back into the game for Richardson and Levine. McGovern gives to Hardick outside. The big man wants the three and got it. The forward, number 50, Adam Hardick. That's a huge shot, and now the Dukes trail by only 5. As the technical producer reminds me to quiet down, it's hard. It's really hard to stay quiet with a game going like this. Dukes on a 12-point run here to open this second half. Open three from Lions. That is a momentum stopper. Huge shot from Diego. If that one didn't go, the Dukes would have had a chance to get it down to a one-possession game, but a huge shot there to negate that Adam Hardick three. Kircher trying to work from the wing. That's where he loves to open up his shots from, and he gets it to go. This Duke team is starting to click on all cylinders, and we have a game on our hands, Jake.
Yeah, they're hitting those open shots as well as those contested ones in the paint. They're getting a lot of pressure, but Kircher is still hitting all those shots that he needs to.
Errant pass, out of bounds, but it was tipped by a Duke, they say. York thought they had possession, but no, Nick Hesh can't believe it there from the bench. Regardless, it will be Lions basketball. Three, up, three, no good. Rebound goes with Alex Sherman and the Dukes. 6 minutes and 18 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. Dukes trailing by 6. Drew Kircher has turned it on in the second half, as well as the rest of this Dukes team. Kircher trying to do it himself and does so. The kid cannot miss. He is seeing a hula hoop for a rim right now because everything is falling. Danko overcommits on the defensive end, leaves Tavari Johnson. Johnson, as you mentioned in that intermission, Jake, sat a lot of that third quarter. He'll be fully rested, and a fully rested Tavari Johnson is a scary sight, as we saw in the first half.
Yeah, they are definitely going to have to put a lot of pressure on him to force him to pass the ball.
Absolutely, and that's something that he excels at as well. We will have to see what Coach Dunn calls up to stop Tavari Johnson. And now the Dukes down by 6 following that Aiden Sullivan layup, trying to find an answer on the offensive end. Dukes continuing to give to the hot hand, and why not? Drew Kircher has looked really good on the offensive end. Looks like Kircher was fouled there. Took an elbow to the face from Diego. Diego in a bit of disbelief. Kircher tells him it's all right. Dukes make a few substitutions. In comes Richardson, in comes Casey. Out go McGovern and Sherman, respectively. Kircher to inbound, Johnson to guard. Kircher 18 on the outing. Johnson has 20 of his own. The two senior guards doing extremely big work for their teams. Hardick nearly walks. He's forced to pass it off. We'll see what the call is. Timeout goes to Dunn prior to the pass, and he is frustrated. He wanted a foul there against Hardick, but didn't get it. Now, Jake, 5:12 to go in this fourth quarter. Dukes trailing by 6. You know, not a situation teams really ever want to be in, but given the situations that we've seen earlier in this one, this Dukes team has made this extremely interesting. They've done a good job coming back, but they have to finish the job. What is Coach Dunn calling up in this huddle? What does this team have to do to attack Lions, both on the offensive and defensive end, trailing by 6?
Well, yeah, they do have 5 minutes, so they are not going to have to rush a shot here. It is a two-possession game, so they can slow it down a little bit to get that good quality shot. But if I were him, I would totally go to Kircher here. He is just not missing this quarter. He is definitely the guy they want to go to.
Absolutely, and Coach Dunn always preaches going to the hot hand. Kircher, absolutely the hot hand on this one on the offensive end. As for the defensive end, will be extremely interesting to see how they try to attack Johnson. Johnson, certainly not the tallest guy on the floor, but he really plays big. He has very high hops, as the kids like to call it now. He gets off the floor when he jumps, and he has done a really good job facilitating that Lions offense. But back to the matter at hand is the Dukes on the offensive end. Richardson, confidence from 3, air balls yet again. That's Richardson's second air ball from that spot tonight. Lions clearly trying to get the ball to Johnson. Johnson working his way inside. We'll see the call. It's a travel. Bit of confusion there. Duke's first upset, now excited. That was a moving base from Johnson. Looked like he took one too many steps to gather the basketball, and now the Dukes will go on offense with another chance to capitalize.
Yeah, they have really been strict on that travel call and double dribble all year, and this game especially.
Absolutely. We saw it at the Tosh. We've seen it in almost every Dukes game this season. These refs have really cut down on moving bases and setting your pivot as well as gathering the basketball. Great backdoor pass from Casey. No question about a travel on that one. Braden Richardson finds himself wide open following a great backdoor cut. No need there to take any steps. He's able to levitate up, and just like that, Dukes are down by only 4.
And those are the play calls and the plays they need to run to get ahead in this game, possibly, as it's now a 4-point game with 4:20 to go.
Really good heads-up play there from Richardson. The cut behind the defense. The sophomore playing a bit like a senior there, finding the opening in the defense. Lions shot no good. Will go off of Sullivan, and now just like that, the Dukes get the ball with 4 minutes and 11 seconds to go. The comeback is on. Lions had a comeback in these teams' first meetings. They were trailing at half, went on a 19-0 run straight out of the half, whipped out a press. The Dukes couldn't handle it. Now the Dukes, the team, down by 17 at half, all of a sudden trailing by a mere 4. Dukes looking for a miracle in the Dick Campbell gym. We'll see if Kircher's able to get it done on the offensive end. Kircher inside through 5 defenders. He's fouled again inside. Kircher not afraid to take the contact, and it has worked out well for him. He'll go to the line to shoot 2 following the foul from who else but Tavari Johnson. He's been everywhere. He was able to fall back there, get the defense on Kircher, prevent the shot to go in, but now he has to pick up a personal foul.
Yeah, Kircher was just going in that paint looking for the foul. There were 4 or 5 guys on him. He was not going to get a shot up, but he was great at drawing that contact.
Absolutely, and a really good closeout from Johnson to prevent a potential floater attempt. Make Kircher earn those points at the free throw line, especially when your team only has 5 fouls. And speaking of fouls, Jake, something really interesting here. The Dukes have played a clean second half, and when I say clean, I mean flawless. This Dukes team hasn't committed a single foul in the second half. Not something I've ever said in the booth for a Dukes team. They've done a really good job controlling a really clean game in the second half, and that's led to them being able to come back now to eventually be down only 4.
Yeah, it has helped them a lot right now. But if they are not able to cut in this league and get it close, it may hurt them in the end, as they're going to have to foul a bunch of times to get LT in that bonus to force them to shoot free throws to get the ball back.
Absolutely. Fortunately for the Dukes, they have about 3 minutes until it gets to that point, and they're only down by 4. 3:56 on the clock. Dukes down by 4. York Sports Network will be right back after this quick timeout intermission. As the timeout comes to a close, it's Kircher at the line. First one from Kircher is good. It's now a 1-possession Lions lead. This is one of the greatest comebacks I have witnessed on this floor. Not only at my time at York, but I witnessed the Doran era from my time at Sandburg to my time at Field Elementary. This would be one of the most heroic comebacks I have ever seen in the green and white, the Dick Campbell gym, whatever you want to call it. Duke's now trailing by a singular possession. As for the Lions, a key on the offensive end, it feels as though Tavari Johnson hasn't been able to get the ball in his hands, and when you have a Division I commit, especially to play for a team like the Akron Zips, you've got to get the ball in his hands as much as possible. Tyron Casey shocked there, thought it went off a Lions Township Lion there. I personally thought it did as well from this vantage point, but of course the call denotes to the stripes, and an and one. Lions capitalize on the 50-50 call, and now Sullivan will go to the line to try to make it a 3-point play. Foul comes against Adam Hardick, only his second, and the Dukes' first foul of the half comes with 3:33 to go in the fourth quarter. Sullivan, Lions on top by 5. Make it Lions on top by 6. Nothing but nylon from the charity stripe there from Sullivan, and now the Dukes need to get something going on the offensive end. Can't let the Lions go on any sort of momentum shift of their own. Richardson quick to give to Kircher in the wing. Kircher from top, that one's short. Richardson not able to grab the offensive board. You know, they generated the look they wanted. Kircher had the open three, but just left it a little short.
Yeah, not the result he wanted, but those are the shots he's going to have to take in this close game, especially with the time running out.
Absolutely, Jake. And it feels like just a few short minutes ago we were talking about what does Coach Dunn have to do to somehow stop Tavari Johnson. He's done it. Johnson's been stuck at 20 points for quite a while now. He hasn't been playing as sharp as we saw in the first half. Whatever Dunn drew up at halftime clearly came out and worked, but now the Dukes have to be able to fully come back, fully capitalize after what happened in that first half.
That's right.
Dukes down by 6. Cannot afford to give up any points here. Tavari Johnson, backdoor pass. That shot off the back iron, and Kircher will push the pace the other way. Johnson trying to come from behind and steal it. Kircher gives to Danko in the corner, and they'll just reset the offense. Kircher, no, he wants the mid-range jumper. Yet again leaves it short, and now it will be Lions the other way with Tavari Johnson. Kircher, 2 straight possessions, leaving that jumper just short off the front of the rim. And now after Lions crosses the half-court line, they will call a quick timeout. Lions on top by 6, 2:32 to go in the fourth quarter. The Dukes have made quite the comeback after trailing by as much as 17. But now with time dwindling, we'll see if they're able to pull off the comeback. York Sports Network, your place for all York sports. AJ Switek, Jake Reiches. We'll be right back after this Lions Township called timeout. Following the LT timeout, they will take over on the offensive end. Looks like it's Sullivan to inbound. Tavari Johnson, likely the guy they'll be targeting here. Dukes trot out the same lineup as before. It's sophomore Chris Danko, sophomore Braden Richardson, junior Adam Hardick, and of course the senior duo of Drew Kircher and Tyron Casey. Now under 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. The Dukes trying to pull off one of the greatest comebacks in York Dukes history. Billy Bach wants to do otherwise. Now 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Time flies by when there's no shot clock. Inside pass, good closeout from Richardson, but an even better post move and finish. Graham Smith unfazed by the pressure. Lions back up by 8. Now Casey loses possession, but he's fouled on the way down. Lions now up to 6 fouls on the outing. The next one will start sending the Dukes to the line for 1-1. That foul comes against number 25, Graham Smith, his second foul, and as I mentioned, Lions 6th. Sherman the inbound. Sherman checks into the game for Chris Danko. Sherman goes over top to Hardick, now under 2 minutes to play. Kircher gives to Sherman. This Lions team going back to the trapping zone that was working so well for them in the first half. Casey generates the open three. Casey, Cash Casey gets it to go. Dukes down by 5. Now Casey, not afraid to guard Johnson. 5 versus 5. He'll be called for the foul there right around half court. Only the second foul for the Dukes in this half. But of intrigue, that is Casey's 3rd foul, so another one would put him 1 away from fouling out of this ball game.
Yeah, and they do have a bunch of fouls to give, so they are able to reach and put a lot of pressure on the ball handler for LT.
Absolutely. You notice Coach Dunn motioning for just that. They have fouls to give. They played a clean half. Why not play a ball press? Do anything you can to force LT to play uncomfortable. Now Sniego giving up. Inside to Bach. Backdoor feed Sullivan. No good. Rebound goes to, who is it off of? Off of the Dukes. They can't capitalize on the missed shot. Oh my goodness, Sullivan gets inside, misses a contested layup, but the Dukes just swatted out of bounds. That's one they'd like to have back. Johnson, we'll see who they say initiated contact. Looked like Kircher ran into him, and he did. Kircher, 19 points, but yet only his first foul. He's played a very clean game of basketball, really good on the offensive and defensive end. Now Bach able to give to Johnson, who gives back to Bach. Looks like the Dukes want the ball in Bach's hand when they're bringing it up, the only guy they choose not to pressure. Now just over a minute to go, Adam Hardick gets in the passing lane. Huge play from the junior, and the Dukes have a chance to get it right back to a one-possession game. Casey feeling it, back iron, no good. Casey with the quick look there from the Hardick steal, can't get it to go, and now it's the Lions trying to go the other way. Kircher falling back on defense. Under 50 seconds to play, Dukes down by 5. Late foul call there. Looks like it'll come against Danko. Yes, it does. Sophomore Chris Danko picked up his first foul on the outing. The Dukes fourth. They still have a few to give with 44 seconds to go here. They're going to need to get another one of those steals that we just saw from Adam Hardick. Someone's going to have to get in the passing lane to make a play. Now it's Casey with the intentional foul. Interesting that they'll have him do the intentional foul there. You think they might let an extra second run off because now Casey with 4 fouls has to go to the bench. Good feed on the inbound. Able to get the ball to Niego. Duke's trying to intentionally foul. The one on Sherman isn't called. The one on Richardson is. Richardson's first foul on the outing. Duke's now up to 6 fouls. And with 36.6 seconds to go, they're going to need some help from the Lions. They're going to need some misses at the free throw line, Jake.
Yeah, they're really going to need to miss the free throw line now that they're down 5 if they want to hit a couple threes here to make it close.
Absolutely. They had the opportunity. They got it to Casey on the other end. The shot was just off, and now the Dukes are going to need a little help from the Lions at the line. 36.6 to go. Dukes called their second to last time out. They have 1 remaining. This has been a game, hasn't it? Down 17 at half. The Dukes have made it interesting. We'll see if they're able to capitalize. York Sports Network, your place for all York sports. We'll be right back after this Vince Dunn charge timeout. 36.6 seconds to play. The teams break their huddles. Lions up by 5, in need of an inbound. See who the Dukes picked to foul, and they picked to foul Sullivan. He'll go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1 for the free throws. Dukes in need of a miss here with 34.8 seconds to go. You have to question how much more they could take if Sullivan's able to get 2 to go from the line.
Yeah, and they check in Casey here for Danko to possibly get the shooting edge they want to make this game close.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, looking for a shooting edge, it looks like Levine will now come in for Richardson. The Dukes running a lot of small ball. Actually, confusion there. Hardick goes out, so even more small ball. The Dukes have all their best shooters out there, really just doing everything they can to generate looks on the offensive end. They want anyone who has the ball to be confident that they could get the 3 to go. And Sullivan gets the first one. He's been really good from the line, hasn't he?
He has indeed.
Sullivan to make it a 3-possession game and potentially seal it for the Lions. Sullivan's off. It'll be a 2-possession game. Sherman the other way, 30 seconds to go. Dukes need a miracle, but we've already seen a semi-1 pulled off in this game. Skip pass, open guy, Levine, no. Rebound to Kircher, 23 seconds left. Kircher puts it up, no. Dukes generate 2 threes, neither of them go, and that will likely be where we see this game end, Jake.
Yeah, those were the shots they needed to go if they want to make it a 1-possession game to give them a chance.
And really good ball movement there. Casey passing up on his semi-contested shot to get it to A.J. Levine in the corner, but Levine was just off the mark, and now, barring some Billy Bach misses here, the Dukes may have to walk away with a loss on their home floor. Bach gets it to go. Dukes now down by 3 possessions with under 20 seconds to go. Bach misses the second one. Duke's down by 7, pushing the pace, trying to get anything going on the offensive end. Levine again, that's a miss. And it looks like that's where the game will end. They foul Johnson going the other way with 9.2 seconds to go. Duke's down by 7. And that means the Lions will walk into the Dick Campbell Gym and walk away with their second win against the Dukes on the season. And now the Lions find themselves in an interesting position here, trying to fight for second place with the Hinsdale Central Red Devils. Of course, the Lions already have 2 losses on the season to Glenbard West, but those aren't bad losses. That's the #1 team in the state. This Lions Township team, led by Tavari Johnson, is very much legit. And with 9 seconds to go, they're proving that here on an away floor.
Yeah, they were not able to capitalize against Glenbard West, but against everyone else in this conference so far this year, they have been able to beat them well.
Absolutely. Lions never go down without a fight. They have been really hard to beat, of course, picking up second place in that Jack Tosh Holiday Classic that the Dukes hosted just a short week ago. Johnson gets his first one. He's up to 21 on the night. He was at 20 for quite a while. The Dukes, if they did one thing well in that second half, it was locking down Tavari. They did a really good job on the defensive end, forcing other players to put up looks, and that's what led to that near comeback. Johnson, though, gets them both to go. The Akron Zips commit likely will finish with the last points here on the floor unless the Dukes try to put up a look, and they do. Kircher, deep 3. He got it. Kircher gets the deep 3. And Coach Dunn calls the timeout, trailing by 6 with 1.2 seconds to go.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot they can do in 1 second, obviously, here, AJ. So we'll see what happens. Likely just a dribble out will be my guess.
We'll see what the intent is here. Coach Dunn getting his boys rallied. Dukes trailing by 6. They will fall to 12-5 after tonight. Nothing to scoff an eye at, especially after losing their star, Nick Hesh, very early in the season. Players have stepped up. The coaching staff has stepped up. This Dukes team still has a bright future ahead, but as for the Lions, maybe even a bit brighter. They beat the Dukes twice now on the year, walk into here, pick up a huge win, and now up by 6 with 1.2 seconds to go. They will be right back, and so will we after this timeout break. We are back following that York Dukes timeout. 1.2 seconds to go. Lions on top by 6. They will walk away with a win here. Came into the Dukes gym, really dominated every single aspect of the game. The Dukes put up a really good second half fight, cutting that 17-point lead eventually down to a 6-point one. They'll play buzzer to buzzer here, but the Dukes walk away with the loss. Lions win 59-53. York Dukes fall to 12-5 on the season. Put up a really good comeback effort there, but it just wasn't enough. AJ Switek, my right-hand man, Jake Reiches, we appreciate you watching the York Sports Network. Our next stream will be on the 21st at 7:30, taking on the OPRF Huskies. York Dukes basketball brought to you by the York Sports Network. AJ Switek signing off.